All right, just wanted to do a little video here. Let's see. On the voices, I was talking about them this morning. I just want to make sure this is recording, and it looks like, yes, we're about 16 seconds in. All right. The voice in your head, you know, their job is to tempt and test. That's their way. They're the angel and the devil on the shoulder. Their job is to submit the human, tempt and test them, keep the econ on me and you flowing, the con on me and you, until we choose as beings to grow in love and actually communicate. And it's growing up as beings. It's not just, oh, you're not a loving being. Of course you love your children and you love your friends and your family. But as we grow as people, you know, we used to be babies as a human race. We used to be toddlers. Now we're tweens, and we are to wean ourselves off of them. Working for what we want rather than doing for the voices to get what we want. That's one of the big three that has to change. Talking about the truth that the voices are real. Everybody's got the voices. The movie Stranger Than Fiction, well, the truth is stranger than fiction because everybody's got the voices. So talking about the truth of the voices, applicating love in your decision making, it's like exercise. You know, you start with a little bit and you work it up. And then working for what you want rather than doing for the voices to get what you want. But as we grow in love, we start talking about the truth of the voices. I'm not here to beat the voices up. Their job, again, is to submit the human. Secondary, tempt and test. They're also, you know, the angel. I whisper that first part sometimes, you know, just the angel. And the devil on the shoulder. They really want you submissive to know that angel shoulder side. But just like your parents, I like to say, they probably didn't teach you anything about the voice in your head. You grew up looking at them like, wow, they feed you, they give you a room, they buy you toys and clothes. And then when you grow up, you find out, well, they were just doing whatever the voice in their head was telling them to do. You know, they're not telling you all the time what to do. You know, we make our decisions in life, but as those who have the voice know, you do what they ask, or you take the pain for not. I'm on the second side of that. I take the pain for doing. I chose to live my life lovingly. I chose God in life. I'm not here to beat them up. Their job is to submit the human. And because we're as people, as look at the different. Okay, I got so much I want to communicate at once, but what I wanted to say is the voice in your head. Yeah, they are known to smash down and to harm people, to get them to submit. That's just what is. But they're also a parent in your life. But we're to wean ourselves off of them and not to blindly follow them. We're to applicate love in our decision making. To blindly follow, you'll soon find that you're blind. Allow the light of love to guide your path. That's what I want to end there. And I'm also fighting for their day of amnesty, the voice in our head, because they am nasty. Similar to another day of amnesty for, you know, going towards the humans and the things you've done for the voices, as long as you're not a threat to the herd. We have a lot of cleaning up to do and just washing and calling it a wash and moving forward. Even in the court systems, it's a bunch of crap. But even with other countries too, and that's sort of what I want to touch on. You know, we look. War is a form of population control. They germed many, in germ many. Germany used to be called Prussia. They literally had to change the name to give us a clue. They germed many and germ many, blinding them towards doing it lovingly, literally making those who just do not see known as Nazis. Oh, those Nazis, look at that. That's what the humans are capable of if they're conditioned. The voice in our head, there are many levels above. The voice in our head and the voice in your head has a voice in their head. so on and so forth. Many levels above. I'm trying to think of a word. Here's a 10-level word. Some people watch a hero movie, superheroes. They're trying to twist my tongue right now. So, some people watch a superhero moo. That's an alien race, the cow. Some people will watch a superhero movie. I'm having to fight for every word here, and will pretend they can do things. Some people are level 10 and post level 10. If you know what a pre-game interview is before pre. Some people have to pretend level 10, pre-level 10, and then there are those that are level 10 and post-level 10 that don't have to pretend. As we evolve, when you pass on to the hereafter, it could be hereafter. Life is a school learning to love. That's the meaning of life, plain and simple. And we pick up these lessons of love and then we move on to the next life. You mean I'm picking up lessons of love, exercising them in my new life, and I don't even remember learning these lessons, but I'm exercising them? Exactly. The example I like to give, thank you, Lord, I'm a man of faith, not of religion, but religion is all wrapped up, all praying to the same God. I can show you that too. But you remember when you were learning how to walk? Stumbling around, hitting your head on the coffee table, thinking you're super baby, you climb up 3 stairs and you're finally going to walk down, tonk, tonk, tonk. 3 tumbles later, you got a bruised little rib. You remember all the pain and the suffering involved with learning how to walk? No. Just like you don't remember the pain and suffering of the last life that you lived. But you're exercising the lessons that you learned here, just like you exercise the lessons of learning how to walk that you don't even remember the pain and suffering involved every day. You might even be able to run, walk with chewing gum, skip. You might have even grown further in your abilities to walk. So we're now learning how to walk in love. Life is a collection of existences. God is real. That's just a scientific fact. If you have the faith to believe an explosion can create itself, this universe, and all the beautiful abundance of life in it, well, that is a God. Creating itself, this universe and everything in it. Where does the Big Bang come from? And they'll say, oh, there's before the Big Bang. Great, whatever you want to call the beginnings of the physical universe, it created itself? No. Not in the physical. If you have I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you have the faith to believe that an explosion or the beginnings of the physical universe can create itself, this universe and everything in it, then you're this close to having the faith to believe that God can do the same thing. We know God is real. If you scientifically, Vulcan logic, push all the understandings of religion out to the side and scientifically look at it, if you know of an explosion that created itself, this universe and everything in it, that's a God. All the beautiful life. Then you start looking at, there's a fractalness to this universe. When you look at ants, and then you look down from a tall building and you look at the humans on the sidewalk, and you see planets spinning around and you have atoms. You look at rivers from way above. You look at the roots in the trees that look like these rivers. There's a fractalness to this universe. The veins in your arm. There's fractalness to this universe. Are you becoming more loving? Are you growing more in love over life? Or are you becoming more explosive? Which one do you think is your fractal lineage, your parenthood, the baby, an adult, a grandfather? There's a fractalness to this universe. What are you growing to become? They're trying to block my tongue. What are you growing to become more like? Growing in love? Or are you growing to become more explosive? Now, some people might say, you don't know my grandma. You don't know my grandpa. They're explosive. I understand. They work on people, and they can really do a number on people at times. But the majority, even as we kill each other in war, you can see how we've grown in love. Geneva Convention stuff. Inhumane, we call it, but the unloving is what that breaks down to be. No chemical warfare, no landmines, torture. Enhanced interrogation is a form of torture. We have to agree upon that too. But we start agreeing that these things are unloving, inhumane, that we shouldn't do it. Even how we kill each other in war, we can see how we've grown in love. So God is real. We know this. So when you understand the truth, God is real, you start looking at it like, okay, so when we die, he's sending us to heaven or hell. Heaven is real, fun, creative place where all of our thoughts and desires are complementary to each other, a place where we will have learned the lessons of love that we're all going to learn, like an awesome dream. How can you have fun without the physical? You ever had an awesome dream? Similar. Pretend, right? Where some people have abilities. The more we grow in love, the more abilities we obtain. So it might be a concept that I like to say, just imagine how you have fun in an awesome dream. Okay, and we're going to grow with our abilities and what we can do as we die. What some people call die is going to sleep, and then we wake up in our new baby body. There you go, off to the next one, picking up more lessons of love till we all learn these lessons of love that we're all going to learn. So then God, he's sending you to hell. All the stuff you've done. No. He created you. He created you the way you are. Now, for being created, he's going to send you to hell forever and ever and ever and ever? No. He loves you and he always will. He created you. He knows exactly how he created you, a little baby pooping in your diaper at times. That's okay. Now, the question is, have we grown a just, next word, us system? It is just us and has to be beefed up with people in love. But have we grown a system, a loving system, to protect each other, just us? It has to grow with people in love. But is that in place? Sometimes, back in the days they used, if you know what a Roman legion of soldiers is, and you know Ra, Re in Egypt, and it means God, and it means those who are worshipped as gods because of their abilities, you know Re legions, how the overlords, how the aliens taught you about God, and how people were following it. I'm not against religion. What I love about religion is that they're helping people nurture a relationship with God. So God's not sending you to hell for creating you. He created you. He created you the way you are. He loves you and he always will. Then he's fading you to black, right? Then we live. I hate the phrase, and I don't like the word hate, but oh man, it's really so misleading to say, oh, you only live once. Live it, run hard, run fast. No, we live forever. Like those kids from Fame. We're going to live forever. Irene Cara, great song. Now, with that said, he's not fading you to black. Imagine you had a child, and that child was terminally ill, and you now had God-like abilities. Would you save that child? I'm going to assume that you just said yes. Do you think that your love for that child is greater than God's love for you? Remember who we're talking about here. God. He loves you and he always will. He's not fading you to black. He wants you in his life. He's not sending you to hell for creating you. It would be cruel to continue to go through these cycles of school. School sucks at times. It's hard. It's rough. There's a reward for going through this school of life, learning to love. Universal heaven, a fun, creative place where all of our thoughts and desires are complementary to each other, a place where we will have learned the lessons of love that we're all going to learn. And then we're not, with our freedom of will that we're gifted with by God, we're not stepping all over each other and crawling and mine, those birds in Nemo. Mine. We grow in love. That's what life is, a school learning to love. Life is a collection of existences. So the one above you in the next level, grade 2, the second graders that are, the aliens, the ones trying, look, if their goal, I had to fight for that word, if their goal was to conquer this planet and take over, look, we are there. Peachtree dish, I call it Peachtree because you don't see peach trees out in the wild. Somebody cares. They made care roots. If their goal was to conquer this planet, they would have taken it over. They could drop you to your knees in a second, fade you to black, or just pass you out, literally pass you out, or bring you to a knee in pain. If their goal was to take this planet over, they already would. Jeez, they are Ob. Ob means overlord, just like Ra and Re. Sometimes pronounced Ab, but Ob. A session, when you view something, you're pulling in information. They're behind your eyes. They can see what you're seeing, so you're serving them information. Observe. I got accepted many levels above the little ones trying to run the planet here and your lives. Not what I'm going into right now, but don't blindly follow anybody, not even me. Allow the light of love to guide your path. Think for yourselves. Applicate love. Use that flashlight of love. But observe. What was the word I was looking for? Man, I'm getting distracted right now. I was building up the word my apologies. Anyway, what I am going to go back to is God loves you, always will. He's not fading you to black. Life is a collection of existences, and then we pass on to the hereafter and we pick up some more. Then we move on to the next one. The humans over there are over there that we consider enemy. We don't have enemy. Remember, the voice in your head, the aliens are the angel and the devil on the shoulder. They're we don't have enemy, we have inner me's, and they will try to pit you against each other. If you spy behind other people's eyes trying to be a jury with other humans in your friends or your family or acquaintances to learn things, because people do that. I never have. I've never submitted. I take the pain for not submitting. But when you're a jury from within, that's why it's called gaining an in-jury towards the truth, because they can puppet people's emotions, they can make them look like they're all angry, and they can impulse your thoughts and put assumptions in your head towards other people. Their job is to control things and manipulate and keep birds of a feather separated. There's 5 areas of responsibility on this planet. Thin white line, charity, religion kind of stuff. Thin blue line, police, fire, government, military, work a day, thin white line, thin blue line, work a day by the book, right? You do your 40 hours a week, you might drink your alcohol and have your tobacco, but you do it by the book. Work a day vice, you do your 40, who's to tell you what you do on your weekend, and then vice. So you get plugged into one of these areas of responsibility, and they want you to be accepting of that. So they like to, they'll pit people against each other, family members at times, because they don't want influences of family ties, thin white line rubbing up against a work-a-day vice. So I don't envy their job of holding all this together, but what we have to do as people is start communicating a truth of what's happening. I'm not against the voice in my head. Again, the voice in our head, the aliens, they got a voice in their head. There's many levels above. I call it the pure raw mid of flesh and bone. Monkey, man, alien, higher evolved alien, higher evolved alien, higher evolved I and I. In the physical, you have physical, and then after we graduate through the pyramid of physical, right? After we graduate through the pyramid of physical, we go to the school of spirituality, watching over the monkey, then watching over the man, then watching over the alien, right? And you got the aliens watching over other humans in the physical, and then you got spirituals watching over you. There are many levels above. When I could talk about pretend, that's 10 levels up in the physical. There are gentle influencers that won't poke you and tell you won't force you to do what's being told to you, but just trying to gently influence. God's gifted us with a freedom of will, and they respect that. So it's of an influence, and it's when we come to a level of evolution in love that we choose to make that loving decision. So anyway, know that after the school of spirituality, pyramid of flesh and bone, school of spirituality, cosmic stream of knowledge, been through both of those, helping both of those out. The school of spirituality is helping out the physical. Cosmic stream of knowledge, the third area, is helping put out fires in the physical and the school of spirituality. Once the final one learns that lesson of love, universal heaven. Nobody makes it to heaven first. It's a fairness. God is fair. I happen to believe, well, just put it this way. If you have the faith to believe that an explosion can create itself, this universe and everything in it, you're this close to having the faith to believe that God could do the same thing. Even in science, we've had to introduce the God, the boson Higgs, God particle. In science, love is the answer. Nurture it. We can end war, poverty, and starvation. I can show you how. It's when you're ready to make that tree mend us change. The trees will help mend us. Many levels above in the spiritual, as well as the physical. I don't speak for anybody, but I got gifted with understandings because I was willing to die rather than to submit. And I take the pain for doing the loving thing. I try to live my life loving. I'm no better, no worse than anyone else. I got gifted with faith is a gift that we're gifted with at the level we can handle. So I like to say, look, I'm no better, no worse than anyone else. That's just the truth. None of us are. A first grader is no better than a 12th grader. 12th grader is no better than a first grader. I'm living in a first grade school, and I consider myself a first grader who's trying to live it lovingly. You know, the aliens being the voice in your head, aliens being second graders, and then levels up. Love is the answer. And when we're ready to make that tremendous change, we can do this. We can make a change. But the three that has to happen first is to start talking about the truth that the voices are real, applicating love in our decision making, one a day when they ask you to break the golden rule, working for what we want rather than doing for the voices to get what we want. Work towards it, not do for the voices, because they're going to ask you to do the dark side things at times, and we're evolving away from that. We used to be babies, we're toddlers, and we're now tweens, weaning. We are to wean ourselves off of them. All right, not here to beat them up. Love is the answer. They're our family. We're all God's children. Peace.